Hi there. So a lot of strange activity has gone on recently within the Kenny Veach Cave mystery, and that also applies to the so-called hiker Really Robin, since the return of him claiming to be responsible for this and that, and including the pen drive. One thing which was noticeable, which I picked up on by the original, real, true, Really Robin, who's recorded himself on camera doing his hike in the past around 2020 onwards and then disappeared for quite some time. And ever since, the return of Robin, which I call a fake account, has claimed to be the original. But in terms of language and wording and their overall behaviour, it just doesn't seem quite right. More cryptic now, and sometimes may insult people or just has a different, slightly darker tone to their voice and how they present themselves, not like the original enthusiastic, open Robin. So what ultimately has gone on down there, you can let me know in the comment section. But what I really want to share with you today is in regard to the original Robin and an email conversation that I had with him in regard to how many hikes, or when did you start going out? And Robin initially said once the range was open, went out there on two separate occasions, something like the 16th or the 17th of June and the 27th. Well, that means two separate hikes. You would possibly anticipate two separate recordings, videos, and yet there's only one video, or was at the time, on his channel. Never saw the second hike video. What went wrong? What happened? And I've done a couple of videos here and there recently spreading that awareness because not enough people know about it. And then I did a short clip, and then that's what triggered this second Robin account appearing out of nowhere once again and saying that they're going to re-upload the original hike or something. Now, just by analysing the word re-upload implies it has already been uploaded in the past. Yet in the past, on this second Robin account, I never saw a second hike video. Only the remnants archive of the original Robin hike, which I've seen, which likely you have seen. And it is still archived till this day elsewhere. And it has been documented, analysed on my channel too. But ultimately, the main goal and question is, I thought we were going to be getting maybe the second hike footage, which was never released in the first place. But for this Robin account to claim it's re-uploaded implies it's not actually new. But it does go further to that point because there is proof to suggest that Robin was also lying about re-uploading the video. Let me show you why. So here is the supposed Really Robin account on YouTube, the one that's been active in recent time. And then when we scroll down to the bottom, Cave Hike 11th Anniversary Temporary Re-Upload. But look, it says 3 years ago when it was originally uploaded. So how can it be a re-upload when it was already uploaded? And that'll make sense in just a second, but I just wanted you to be familiar with this YouTube channel. Some additional videos have been added since, two of which that guy, that Plainfield talking, is the one that Robin originally interviewed, the original Robin, and then some clips by Sean Horlacher, but not to do with Robin in that sense. I know there was a viewer on my channel that said, have you seen Robin in the orangey shirt talking? Well, that's actually Sean Horlacher, not Robin. There's a bit of confusion going on, so I just wanted to make it clear. And the other confusion is just in general, people have been asking, well, where's the video that Robin promised to re-upload? See, there's a difference between a re-upload and setting a video that's been private public, right? And what Robin has done, he hasn't re-uploaded the video. What's been done is in the past, he uploaded it, which was 3 years ago, and then it was publicly viewable. Then he decided to set it as private or unlisted, and that's why it disappeared from the channel. And then just recently, with Robin talking about how he's going to re-upload it, what he meant to say was he's going to set his previously uploaded video from private or unlisted to public. Look, the video says 2022, 4th of February, when it was uploaded. The description has been edited, though. Re-upload the 2020 hike from the occasion of the 11th Kenny Veach anniversary director's cut. The thing in brackets, director's cut, is BS, because from the looks of it, when watching the hike footage, it's the same exact thing that I saw in the past. There's nothing additional about it, to my knowledge, so it's not a director's cut. If it was, it would have additional scenes which have not been included in the original cut. It's not, it just wasn't there in the first place, and maybe some behind the scenes footage too. But this is the same plain hike video which we've already seen in the past. Nothing new. This isn't directly in response to what Robin said in terms of when I was trying to get my point across, as in, where's that other hike? Where's the other video? And Robin says, oh, I'll re-upload it. What? Re-upload the video that we've already seen before. What good does that do? It doesn't answer the question. So Robin has failed severely there. And Robin has also failed in language and wording, right? To say it's been re-uploaded, well, originally it would have been uploaded in 2020. To be re-uploaded in 2022 is correct, but in terms of Robin's wording in recent time as of 2025, it's going to be re-uploaded again. Well, if it was to be re-uploaded again, it wouldn't say uploaded 2022, it would say uploaded 2025 as of November. So this video, what we're looking at is a re-upload of the 2020 hike, but it became private or unlisted, and just recently it's been made publicly viewable once again, and it's not been for a second time re-uploaded, even though it states it here. So the language and wording is a little bit off, and that is why people aren't able to locate the video on Robin's channel the same way, because when people hear the word re-upload, normally when you do upload a video, it will appear at the top of the list as in the latest video. On the sideline, also to include, Really Robin's description on his YouTube channel reads, I provided you the resolution of Kenny Veach's fate on a silver platter and his whereabouts on my videos. It's right before you on my videos. I shouldn't even write about it. It should be obvious from the start. Yet everyone decided to ignore the hints and clues I provided in my videos. Andrew loves to complain about human stupidity, yet he fails to see what's under his nose. And yet it's rich of Robin to say that when it comes to human stupidity, or more so the incompetence by humans, because I don't always say stupidity, I might say idiocracy or idiosyncratic behaviour. Get it right, really, Robin, okay? But we're going to talk about human incompetence, where humans will let you down with their words, their promises. Well, really, Robin is a great example of that. Because when you think about it, if I'm to do a video where I point out a valid observation and proof that the original had claimed to have been out there 2 separate occasions, you'd also anticipate 2 separate video recordings. And only when one is provided, the second one must be hidden or never uploaded or private, hidden away. You'd anticipate that when there's a response by the so-called original individual or a person claiming to be the original, as in the new Robin, when they say, I'm going to re-upload the hike video, besides the word re-upload, you'd think that they're responding based on the questions that I've asked. Where's the second video? And Robin decides to upload the video what we've already seen. So what good does that do when it's already archived elsewhere? How does it help the situation? It does nothing. So it was pointless by Robin to re-upload the same video. It was pointless and a breakdown in communication, a disaster, as in my language and wording was extremely clear, and yet Robin's response and reaction was disappointing, but it was to be expected based on my observations and predictions. So I got that right once again. But, the reference to me and how I call out humans supposedly, and how there's a supposed failure with me when it comes to Robin, the answers, the clues he's provided, etc. I don't think Robin is in a position to be talking. When he messes it up with the whole upload thing, he claims it's a re-upload, but it can't be a re-upload if you're talking about present time, because if you was to re-upload it, it would say 2025, but it doesn't, right? Very simple. If I upload a video right now, it'll give the day, the year, the month, etc. of today. If 5 years later I re-upload the same exact video onto YouTube, it'll give the date and to the future on the day that I upload it. If I upload a video right now, it'll give the date, the year. If I then make it private and then leave it for 100 years, 100 years later, I then set it to public, it's still going to give the original date and year, as in way back then. So that bit you can't change or edit. So language and wording heavily misused, not a good look, and just the general behaviour and attitude by Robin is somewhat problematic. But this is the thing, when you come across problematic humans, they still need to be documented just in case. So you can compare, contrast at some point. And furthermore, awareness can be spread in the future so there aren't misunderstandings and people know who is who and what they're all about. With that being said, feel free to share this video. This is only a small one. I am still going to do a live video premiere, upload another video later tonight around 9:30 p.m. UK time. So be on the lookout for that. For now, just feel free to hit the like button, share the video to spread that awareness on his current situation. It's not a re-upload, it's an old video which has just been made public once again, and it still doesn't answer the original question of where's the second hike. The second hike video still hasn't been released. And maybe the reason behind that is because this so-called Robin simply doesn't have it, because the original Robin never uploaded it. To put it in other words, basically, when a person, the original, has content, if somebody else downloads it and archives it before the original is long gone and the original channel disappears, that one other person who now has that material can pose as the return of the original, faking it. Just like when you get someone on Twitter that buys verification, has a certain username and profile picture as to mimic, mirror, a famous streamer, content creator out there. And whilst the followers don't add up because it's only like a few hundred or a couple of thousand compared to the original real popular person on other social media platforms that could have millions or thousands of followers, etc. These fake people will include URL links in their bio. So when people click on those URL links, they'll be sent and directed to the actual real people that are popular, and you'll just be led to think, so this URL link, whilst you're not established on Twitter, you are on YouTube, on Twitch, on TikTok. But it's not quite the case. It's someone pretending to be another person and using those URL links to try and prove that they are who they are when they're really not. Psychological warfare, very manipulative behaviour. The same could be happening here to some extent in the Kenny Veach case. You archive footage, then you use it to your own benefit down the line to try and mimic or pretend to be that one original person who's no longer around. And that original person who's no longer around can't defend themselves either. See, look, we've got to also just base it on the attitude and tone of voice. The original Robin wouldn't talk or speak or type like this. The original Robin didn't seem as cryptic in words, Sometimes dramatic, yes, or towards the end dramatic and scared and, hyping things up. But, even when he was hyping things up, the original Robin, as in what killed Kenny, what happened, what did happen, who witnessed what, and the proof and the evidence behind it all, even if it turned out to be a letdown and most people didn't quite agree with it or felt Robin was exaggerating, Robin gave answers. Even if it didn't seem possible or plausible, answers, a clear explanation was given, even if it is just based on an opinion, whereas this Robin is more hints, riddles, little clues, words, drip feeding, expecting people just to know it, and it's just really dragging it out. So there is a difference in personality, so it's likely two separate people. And you can latch on and pretend to be someone that's lesser known, and you might be more likely to be believed in. Whereas if you've got, some people still fall for it, but if you've got a very specific, distinct, unique individual in their tone of voice, their language, their communication, they might not be able to be like impersonated by another person because it's just so unique it can't be replicated. So if someone is predictable or mirrorable, or like there's someone isn't as well known, so there's not going to be the same level of observation and picking up on, they normally don't type like that, they normally don't sound like that, they're normally a bit different. People are less likely to be observant to that extent if you don't originally know the person to begin with. A lesser known individual can be faked, but a more well-known individual can't be faked the same way, because regular viewers and long-time audience members will pick up on patterns and behaviours which are normal and associated to the original, and then in contrast to the new presence or the return presence, as in, something doesn't seem quite right, something's a little bit off. So people sometimes do pick and choose who they impersonate and pretend to be. That's just a little psychological breakdown there. As said, I've still got another video coming later, so just be on the lookout for that. For now, thanks for watching. My name's Warlike Ralph, and goodbye for now.